we're back with another Allied Rivals podcast. And this time, we're going to be talking about the World Series. We're partying like it's 1988. If you're in LA, join us. We're going to have a fun conversation, and let's get right in. Congratulations, Los Angeles. It has been 32 years, but you finally brought home the coveted World Series trophy. I'm AJ Herschel, and I'm here with my man, Cademan Bauer. How's it going, man?
Oh, man, it was an exciting week in sports all around. You know, you got the World Series, but you got also a great week at NFL. For me, I'm kind of I don't know whether I should be happy or sad, but our last football practice till February is tomorrow. So that's a big deal.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I'll just be doing full basketball, and that'll be fun.
Gotcha.
Yeah. How about you, AJ? How you doing?
Doing good. Sports is it's gonna be a little bit sad after the swirl of football, baseball, basketball, hockey, you know, all being involved at the same time and getting back to normal. Yeah, man, all of that happening. But now we're getting back to normal, so it's a little bit sad there's not as many sports to watch, but college football is still back, so that's great. So it's been a good week. So we are, of course, talking about the World Series. Before we do, real quick, the biggest news that broke in the MLB, the Chicago White Sox hired Tony La Russa again as the manager of the Chicago White Sox. Cademan, La Russa's obviously experienced. He's been with the organization before. Yeah. He's a 3-time World Series champion, last time in 2011, so he hasn't been out of the league for that long. What do you think? Was this a good decision by the White Sox?
I mean, they're bringing someone back that they know they can probably trust. I mean, they had him before. I mean, the Sox have only gotten better, it seems like, since then. And I'm guessing that Tony is probably more experienced now. He probably has had more time to look over just the whole game of baseball. He'll probably know how to coach better, who to hire, who to keep on the roster, things like that. I'm not totally sure if it was the good time or not. I mean, I think they got a great coach. If it was the right time or not, I'm not sure, because I think you may have wanted to give the coach and the previous GM and the rest of the guys to kind of get it one more year of gelling, since it was a shortened season. You might want to give them another year. But Sox probably know what they're doing. They had an amazing, really first year as a team, honestly. So I don't know. AJ, you're the Sox fan. What do you think?
Yeah, so I was a little bit shocked when I first heard that Rick Renteria was getting fired, but I mean, hindsight, I kind of get it. They were trying to go for the strategy of you bring in a guy to build the roster, and then you bring in a guy with playoff experience to get you to the World Series. So from that position, I get it. It kind of feels like we're making up for one of the worst decisions in White Sox history when we fired him, but then again, that was our 1-year general manager problem. We paid for that. I'm happy that we got someone with experience for sure. It is a little bit weird to know that he's in the Baseball Hall of Fame, so that's a little bit weird to think about, but I'm excited for the next season. The White Sox, they're a great team. They're a great franchise. I think they're going to be really good this next year upcoming. I think a couple free agent ads, maybe another pitcher to help out Giolito and Dallas. But I'm excited. It's the guy with experience. He's a guy who's been in the league for a while. A little bit concerned, maybe just some of the more analytical parts of baseball he might have to catch up with. But I'm excited for sure. Well, I think it's time to get into the main part of our episode, the World Series retrospective. I called it before the series started. The Dodgers did it in 6 games. Cademan, your first reactions to the LA Dodgers winning the World Series for the first time since 1988. 7 straight division championships. Been to the World Series 2 out of the last 3 years, and they finally get it. What was your reaction? You're muted, by the way. Here, I'll unmute you. Or not. You got to unmute yourself.
Thank you for that.
There we go. You're welcome.
Yeah, I wasn't totally sure about the 6-game thing. I could have saw them going in 5 or even the Rays taking it to 7. I think the Dodgers were definitely the better team here. Proved it by how well they pitched through the entire series. Proved it also on the other side of the ball, how well they can hit the ball from even Tyler Glasnow or Blake Snell. And they just did it the whole series. I mean, yeah, they lost a couple games, but those were down to the wire. It was, and one of those was because, in my opinion, a mistake by first field / first baseman. I don't know where you want to go there. It was a bad play, but Dodgers were definitely the better team, and they proved it here, winning the series.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like I said, I thought the only team that going into the playoffs, the only team that could beat the Dodgers was the Braves, and they came close. And I think the Braves would have done it if Mike Soroka had been healthy, if Foltynewicz hadn't just kind of imploded to start the season. I think they would have done it. But the Dodgers, obviously the deepest team on offense, the deepest team potentially in the pitching staff. Clayton Kershaw, so happy to see him back to mid-season form, but this time in the playoffs. This has been long deserved, and this was a team that we already knew was great. The Dodgers were great, and they go out and add Mookie Betts, the acquisition that really brought everything together. I was super excited to see the Dodgers finally win it. They clutched it out barely in Game 6. It was a tight series. I mean, there were a couple of blowouts, the 8-3 Game 1, 6-2 Game 3, but the final 2-3 games were all decided by 2 or 1 runs. It was the exciting series we'd all hoped for. Watching Game 4 and the Rays afterwards almost made me into a Rays fan. But the Dodgers, I'm so happy for them. Congratulations, guys. It's party like it's 1988. And for LA, I mean, unless you're a Clippers fan, you just won 2 championships in a single year. So, I mean, I'm sure LA is having a great time.
Rams won't do it, though.
Yeah, probably not.
That's good.
So, Cayman, the Rays had such a deep pitching staff. I personally think they needed a deeper hitting roster. Randy Arozarena probably having one of the greatest playoff performances that we've ever seen by an individual person. But what do you think the Rays needed to be able to beat the Dodgers? Was it a deeper pitching staff? Was it more power hitters? What do you think would have been the catalyst for the Rays to have a better chance to beat the Dodgers?
Well, like you said, Randy Arozarena was just playing out of his mind. He was breaking all kinds of records for the series and the playoffs in general. I think they honestly needed you had other guys hitting the ball. Sure, it's the Rays. They're going to the series. They're going to be hitting the ball. But against the Dodgers team, it just still wasn't good enough. And I think you needed the pitching probably could have used some work. Not necessarily starting, but bullpen especially. But then something interesting is that the Rays really seemed like they really came out when they had it was weird. Like once you got a bullpen pitcher in for the Rays, it seemed like all the Rays hitters went in like, oh man, we got to hit this, and they really started doing it. Once they realized they were down, they had someone besides Blake Snell or whoever was on the mound to start. I think honestly they just needed more hitting, because I don't think any pitching staff can deal with the Dodgers hitting. And so I think you honestly, if you're the Rays and you want to win next year, you got to get another clutch hitter with a Randy Arozarena. So I think.
Yeah, absolutely agree there. I mean, their pitching staff obviously is great. Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, and Charlie Morton as a nice 3. But their hitters are good, but they were inconsistent the entire year. I mean, part of it could be bad luck. Part of it could be the new rules with you're not allowed to watch your replays in the dugout because of the Astros and everything. But yeah. The Rays definitely needed more firepower to be able to compete with the Dodgers. That's how the Braves were. Their downfall was because they didn't have the pitching staff to finish it out, but their hitting was the one thing that could keep them up with the Dodgers. And when the Dodgers are going to come at you with Julio Urias, with Clayton Kershaw, with Walker Buehler, you're going to need more studs in that batting lineup to be able to knock them down from their pedestal, but not this year.
Not this year. Maybe next year.
Yep.
I don't know. It was just like kind of going back to not necessarily just Game 7, but like like when the Rays, I think it was Game 5.
Okay.
I believe when the Rays went up 8-7 in the end, like with the mistake. I believe
that was Game 4. Game 4.
Okay, that was Game 4.
Yeah, Game 4.
That was Game 4. And then I think it was Game 2. The Rays also won.
Yep.
I think with those you just certain things throughout the game, and I mean, Game 4, big play at the end for the Rays. Obviously, clutched that one, but I think for like Game 2, or even just different plays throughout the closer games, I felt like it was because their hitting was really starting to knock out the Dodgers pitchers, and like once you get out Clayton Kershaw or whoever the starter is, because man, the Dodgers have a stacked pitching roster. Honestly, it's crazy. Once you get out their starter, and then you go through. First guy comes out of the bullpen. I think they started to go through it a little faster. That's what happened in Game 4. That's what happened in Game 2. If they could have done that again, pushed it to a Game 7. That would have been why.
Yeah, and I think that is part of it, though. The Dodgers bullpen stepped up in Game 7. Tony Gonsolin didn't do well to start out the game. 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and allowed the 1 run. And then you brought in everybody else, basically. They went through 6 relievers throughout the rest of the game, the Dodgers did, to close it out. The Dodgers, actually, their pitching staff, like you said, the Rays in the games they won, they hit off of their pitching staff later in the game. This time was the pitching staff that saved the Dodgers at the end of the game. And of course, Julio Urias is turning out to be an absolute stud. He has been pitching gems in the NLCS and also the World Series, 4 strikeouts in 2.1 innings. Man, that guy is going to be a star.
Yeah, and not letting up any hits or I believe no walks either. Really, really good work, and not just him, the whole Dodgers defense too.
Yep.
You got some great outfielders.
True.
And like that's probably the best fielding team in the league, or at least one of the best.
Oh yeah, that's very true. I mean, Bellinger and Mookie Betts alone robbed the Braves of like 4 home runs. There's no counting how many times they've done it the whole season.
And then you got guys like Justin Turner, who also have crazy arms in the outfield. Oh, you don't want to play the Dodgers, man. You don't want to play the Dodgers.
Yep, that's the truth. That's the truth. So one of the more controversial decisions of Game 6, though, of course, a lot of people have been talking about Blake Snell, who was one of the pitchers who was the starting pitcher in Game 2 that the Rays won, the one game the Rays won. He was pitching a gem. Cademan, if you're the Rays manager, your starting pitchers throw 9 strikeouts, and throughout the whole game has only let up 2 singles. He's only thrown 73 pitches at this point. Do you understand the reason why the manager, do you understand sorry, let me phrase this better. If you're Kevin Cash, does pulling your starter make sense in this scenario? Granted, Mookie Betts was coming up next. This was the 3rd time he was going to see Blake Snell. So, I mean, there definitely was a danger there. Do you get the decision to pull him?
Game 7, right?
Game 6. It went 6, yeah.
Yeah, 6. I am honestly Ooh, sorry, there was no game 7. I don't know why I said that.
You good?
Uh, that like he had only pitched like 75 or 80, something like that.
73. He was at 73 when they pulled him.
Not good. He had only let up 2 hits. One had been that inning, one single that inning. And he was just closing every inning out, whether there were guys on base or not, really well. He stayed calm. It seemed he was not cracking under pressure at all. I do not exactly know why they pulled him out so early.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a bad decision because, hey, when you pulled him out, the Rays were up 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you pull him out? This is if you're lucky, he's not going to play again this series for sure.
Yeah.
Because if you're lucky, there's one more game. Who does that go to? I don't know. Next pitcher. But keep him in there as long as you can because he holds together that defense.
Mm-hmm.
He is a stone wall in that defense. And honestly, the Rays need more stone walls in their defense.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. I think, man, and the Rays, granted, are also in the outfield a great defensive team. We saw them just completely mess up the Houston Astros multiple times. Like, there are very few teams that could do it. I listened to all the press conference stuff. I listened to the explanation. I listened to what Blake thought he was going with. I mean, I get it to a point. You don't want to have, after a single, Mookie Betts coming up in your lineup. I get that. You don't want to have one of the most dangerous men in baseball possibly mess up your team and start a rally. I'm okay with that. What I don't get is why you put in Nick Anderson. And Nick Anderson's great. Keep in mind, he's up for reliever of the year. He's up for the all NL team right now. For the all AL team. My bad. For the all MLB AL team. I get it. He had a great year, but he was not good in the playoffs. He had let up runs in 6 straight outings, 7 of his last 9 outings. I don't know why you bring in Nick Anderson. I get that he's great, but when you bring out a guy in a slump, you don't put him in a situation where you have a runner on base and Mookie Betts and Corey Seager, the LCS and World Series MVP, coming up next. That's the part I don't understand, Caben, is I get that he's a great pitcher, but you don't go with a guy in the slump in a must-win game with a 1-0 lead. If you're up 4-0, 3-0 even, I would understand it much more, but not in a 1-run game. And what happens? Wild pitch brings a man home. Corey Seager hits Mookie Betts home, and that ends up being the winning run. I don't know why they brought in Nick Anderson. The Dodgers, when they're in trouble, did they bring out Kenley Jansen when he had just had troubles? No, they didn't. You don't bring out your guy in a slump. That's my thing. If this was the regular season, you had 20 games to go, I'd completely understand it. When your starting pitcher's only throwing 73 pitches through 5.1 innings, when he's thrown 9 strikeouts, and Mookie Betts, by the way, this year and last year against starting pitchers, had been his worst when facing starting pitchers the 3rd time statistically. You don't bring him out. The Nick Anderson pick just completely baffled me, and I think that's the thing. Over anything else, even over the decision to pull out Snell, that's the thing that I don't get. That's the thing I don't get if I'm the Rays.
The way you win against the Dodgers is you keep your best pitchers in as long as you can. You do not let them rally the ball.
Yep.
You cannot. I don't understand that either. Why they put in Nick Anderson, don't know. Don't know. You could put in Ryan Sheriff or Diego Castillo, who are consistently having way better games than Nick Anderson, and yet what do they do when it's a must-win game?
Yeah.
Big mistake in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's nothing against Nick Anderson. I mean, he's a great pitcher, but when you're down, you're down. When you're having a rough couple of games, you're having a rough couple of games. And I just don't understand it. And this is the one compliment I do want to give to the Rays. They were masterful on the mound. I mean, the Dodgers are teams that, they're a team that hit a lot in one inning. They'll get a lot of runs in one inning. They were shutting them down. Blake Snell is throwing 9 strikeouts. The Rays were barely walking him. These are the Braves that were making Ian Anderson go to 80 pitches after 4 innings.
Oh, man.
Man, I do feel kind of bad for the Rays. I know a lot of people are going to hate on him and hate on the decision to pull Blake Snell, but the Dodgers at the end of the day did deserve it. At the end of the day, they hit better, they pitched better, they played better defense, and they were, we all knew, the best team coming into the playoffs. So at the end of the day, I think the Dodgers deserve the win, hands down.
Yeah, and I think kind of going off of what you said before with Nick Anderson, yeah, he's a great pitcher. There's a reason he's in the MLB.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, but I think one of his problems is it seems like he cracks under pressure. And when you take Blake Snell out of the game, and this is just what I've seen, I think he does crack under pressure. When you put him behind like someone like Blake Snell, who was a Cy Young Award winner, and he's just amazing all the time. Well, not all the time, but he's a great pitcher. That's going to be hard for any pitcher.
Yep. Absolutely.
I think you got to pick him. I don't know. The general manager might have thought it could have turned out better than that. I think it was probably good that he showed he could put like some trust in Nick Anderson, but maybe not since like it might be all gone now. I don't know. AJ.
Yeah, and I do know. I mean, it's up to us. I mean, like to us, we're sitting here. We can Google all the analytics we want, while we're sitting in our houses or whatever, in our apartments when we're looking at stats after the World Series is over. It is tough to make those split-second decisions on whether you want to bring in a pitcher or not. I understand getting the reason why you wanted to pull Snell with Mookie Betts coming up. I get it. But, man, that's just heartbreaking if you're a Rays fan. Lightning Bauer in the comment section. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know, what did you think about the World Series? Did you think the Dodgers were going to pull it out? He says, hope Justin Turner doesn't get in trouble, but I think he will. Yeah, the whole Justin Turner debacle with him coming back out on the field is definitely a complicated situation. Do you really want to talk about it that much, Cademan?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah. Same. So obviously, congrats to the Dodgers and everything. They are absolutely the best team in the MLB right now. So Cademan, if you're the rest of the teams, if you're the Yankees, the White Sox, Astros, all of those teams, where do you stand after this? The Dodgers rolled through the MLB. They've been rolling through the MLB for years, really. Is there any teams that you think could make a run at it next year? And I know this is a little early, but still, like just teams that impressed you or whatever this year.
Yeah, I mean, teams that seem like they have a good enough roster and good enough coaches to make it far. One of them would seem like would be the White Sox, honestly, because they can hit the ball like nobody's business. I mean,
that's the truth.
You just see them rally the ball. I mean, probably not quite as good as the Dodgers or the Braves or. Yeah, but they're up there, man, and those are one of the teams where I think they're just like gaining more and more potential. Each player's just getting better all the time, and through a 60-game season, you saw each player improve by a ton.
True.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's for real, man. And then I think a couple other teams. Now, I don't want to sound like. I don't know. I mean, the Brewers and Cubs, I think they always have like a really good chance at making it somewhere. I think with the Brewers, though, it seemed like it was all on Yelich since Kane opted out of the season, and the Cubs just weren't. I don't know. It wasn't their season. It was not 2016. I think that's the best way to put it. With the Braves, you just got to strengthen your pitching staff because hitting. Great. Like we said many times, if you're going to beat the Dodgers, like that was the team that would out-hit the Dodgers, that would win by out-hitting the Dodgers. Well, they hit fine, but yeah, they could not pitch. So I think those are the teams I would say have like the most potential.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on a lot of those. I would say definitely I think the Braves they get Soroka back next year, and probably not at the beginning of the season, but they will get him back, and I think that'll be huge. If they get one more pitcher in free agency, I think that's also huge. I don't know what to think about the NL Central, if I'm being honest. The way they looked in the playoffs made it look like the MLB's version of the NFC East. The Cubs couldn't hit to save their lives. The Cardinals are the weirdest team in MLB and super inconsistent. The Reds have great pitching, but can't hit in clutch moments. The Brewers definitely, no offense, but is it fair to say that in like the normal 5-team playoff, they definitely didn't deserve to be there in the playoffs this year? Yeah.
They didn't. No.
Yeah. Like that you only have Yelich, and even when Lorenzo Cain comes back, I mean, is that roster 2 guys going to be able to keep up with the likes of the Dodgers and Braves? The NL Central as a whole was just straight up mediocre. And if you're the Brewers, you've got to get more stars on offense. If you're the Cardinals, I think you got to improve the pitching staff. Same with the Reds. You've got to get someone behind Trevor Bauer. And then if you're the Cubs, you need to bring in some more hitters. That's that. So I think, honestly, I'm really looking forward to the Rays and Yankees actually coming out next year. Rays trying to run it back, maybe do something in free agency this year. Yankees, and I saw Lightning Bauer made a comment on that. I think they need to get a number 2 behind Garrett Cole. Masahiro Tanaka is not bad, but they need a number 2 ace, I think, if they're really going to take it. So I think Rays and Yankees are the 2 teams I'm most looking forward to. And then in the NL, the Braves at challenging the Dodgers in the World Series. And we completely forgot to talk about the Padres too. I mean, we're going to have Machado back. We're going to have Tatis back. We're going to have Will Myers coming back. Padres are going to be a fun team to watch. Slam Diego 2021. They are going to be fun.
Yeah. And one more team.
Yeah.
The Athletic.
Oakland. Yeah.
Man, they were a good team throughout the whole season. I mean, a little bit inconsistent at times, but for the most part, really good team, really solid all the way around. I think they just needed just a little bit more in every area. And yeah, okay, that's every team. Now, the A's were so close, close. And they just broke down with the Astros, and I'm not totally sure why, but they did. They just kind of fell apart, and it was just kind of a mess. But I think that is another team we have to consider.
Yeah, good choice. Good choice. The A's are really one of those weird teams. I'm being honest. The A's are one of those weird teams where they're just a bunch of people you've never heard of, but but they are really good.
It's kind of a team where you don't have really a lot of really any stars, any star hitters or star pitchers, really. They're just kind of all good, and that's just where they were, and that's why they didn't really make it far into the playoffs.
Yeah, there you go. Good way of putting it. Well, let's see. Lightning Bauer's got a couple comments for us. He says, who's the basketball player on the top back there, top right over there? Dominique Wilkins. I pulled him out in one of our other episodes at the end of an episode that we had. That was episode twice in a sentence. Wow. But yeah, Dominique Wilkins, Atlanta Hawks. I'm sure you know him. Did I hear about Giannis casting in a movie? I heard something about it. I heard there's a rumor that they're looking for someone to play as like a child version of him. I heard. Wasn't that it? If I'm correct with that, dude. Hey, Disney, hit me up. You want me to play young Giannis? I got a large wingspan and I can play basketball. Hit me up, or whatever company's making it. Cayman, what do you think about that?
Oh man.
Nothing.
Nothing.
All right.
It was a good episode.
All right, cool. Yeah. Hit me up, whoever's making it, if you want me to play young Giannis. But that's another episode. Jose Canesco. Yeah, that's a little bit of an old timer there. But yeah, that's another episode. Be sure to check out our Allied Shorts. We officially have a playlist now on our main channel, so be sure to go check those out. We're going to do an episode right after this. In the next 5 to 10 minutes, we'll be going live on the NFL Panic Mode. Cademan doesn't even know what this is going to be about, but it should be a fun time. You guys should totally join us for that. Cademan, how about you give us a verse first, and then we'll go ahead and hit up with our background.
Yes, sir. All right. Let's see, man. All right. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. Psalm 1 through 2. So I think this verse kind of starts out talking about what a blessed man shouldn't do. Counsel of the wicked, he should not walk in the counsel of the wicked, stand with sinners, sit with scoffers. So it kind of gives and then it gives the author gives the direct opposite of that. Someone like what they should do, delight in the Bible, in God's word, and meditate on it all the time. So here in the beginning, it kind of gives like a progression. First, you're like walking with the wicked, walking in the counsel of the wicked, and then you're standing in the way of the sinners, and then you're sitting in the midst of the scoffers. So you go from kind of really somewhat separate to like with them completely. But it says we should basically we should be focusing on God's word to tell us basically discerning who we should sit and walk and stand with, that kind of thing. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. Psalm 1 through 2.
All right, there we go. Well, you want to pull something out of your background, Cayman, to show us?
Yeah, man. All right, so not yesterday. It was a few days ago. Last episode, I pulled out the, I think it was Joe Montana. It's a double-sided card, so I'll show you the other side.
All right.
Troy Aikman.
Clean. That looks nice. Very nice.
Yeah. That's cool. Troy Aikman.
Nice.
Gotta love Troy Aikman, man. What you got, man?
Of course.
You got the basketball guy behind.
Well, I already pulled out Dominique once before, so I'm gonna pull out someone different. Since we're doing baseball theme, you can't really see him. He's down here typically, but I'll bust out my little Ichiro Suzuki figurine. He is one of my favorite all-time baseball players. Unfortunately, the base that I have for him is kind of gone. I haven't had that for many years. But anyway, Ichiro Suzuki, I love him. He's the reason why I like the Seattle Mariners. He's one of my favorite players of all time, and just thought I'd pull him out for today. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Allied Rivals. Go be sure to check out our Allied Rival shorts and our next episode on the NFL Panic Mode coming very, very soon, like in 5 minutes. Hopefully see you over there. Have a good day, people. And if not, have a good day. Catch you guys later.